Hey folks, welcome back to the city. In this week's update, I'm straight into doing the water for the canal and the harbour as I got my order delivered, so that's well over 2,000 trans-clear tiles, so I'm finally getting this done. I'm also finishing the cobbled roads and beginning work on the street sections of the modulars, tiling them in light bluish grey and a few other things too, like a sand blue pathway around the harbour walls. But let's start as always with how much I've spent and how many parts I've used. And this week I spent a lot on parts, and I've also added a few modulars, so a bit of a jump in expenditure. I've crossed the £2,000 mark, so it's now at £2,189.27 so far on Lego. And my estimate is 42,281 parts. Unfortunately, I have had a few inconsistencies on the coloration of the trans-clear tiles. I have a batch of Lego ones which are a slightly darker shade compared with other Lego ones, and then I also have some tiles I bought from AliExpress which again are slightly off colour. So I'm blending them in to make a darker coloured bit where the harbour is deeper. I'm almost done with it, but I'm leaving this long black section out as that'll be where the other jetty is, and it'll be eventually a dock for a seaplane and another boat. Doing the water was enjoyable actually. It takes a wee while, but I love the way it looks. The black plates underneath give it this tone which I really like, and it's kind of fulfilling to do, working away at it, and you get a nice result. Now I'm moving on to filling in the edges of my cobbled road. I'm using corner tiles for this as it makes it look a bit less refined and more realistic. I had a great suggestion last week in the comments that I could use various shades of tiles and ingots and even miss some out and put pooling water, and I really like the idea of doing all of that. My road kinda isn't as dilapidated as that, but I could revisit it in future and do that perhaps. I also got a ton of these dark grey ingots and I want to use them on all the roads, so it's maybe something to revisit in future, but a nice suggestion. But yep, just now I'm very happy with how this looks. It's certainly more finished looking now. I will also be adding a curb and drainage as I'm going to put the modulars on cardboard, so they'll be a bit higher up. And I'm also going to start to swap out the dark grey tiles that Lego used for all the modular streets, and I'm going to make light grey pavement or sidewalk instead and have dark grey tiles lining the edge instead, whereas Lego used grey, like the light grey ones. A big job I managed to do since last week is I've tiled the canals fully and put tiles on the edges of the walls that line the canal. I still have to finish the walls on either side here, but I'll do that shortly. So I kind of wanted to show off the water as it is essentially finished for now, and I wondered what you thought of it. You can see the two coloured tones of the tiles here. Does it look terrible? Should I make them all uniform? Maybe, I don't know. What do you think? I like it just now, but it would be good eventually to have all the same colour. I will close in on this jetty today though and show you that. It's simple enough, brown plates and tiles with barrel legs, which I made last time. I've added some sea life, crabs and that, and a few bits of green foliage. I also got a delivery of 1x6 printed tiles, which look like the timber flooring or planks with nails in, and I love it. It looks better than the plain brown. It really adds a more realistic look to that little bit. And when the boats are in place, it just looks so cool. I do need to jazz up the boats and make mocks instead of Lego ones though, so I'll probably do that next week. If I cross over here and show you where the other jetty will be, and a difference in coloration with the tiles is far more noticeable here, I'm not too worried about it, as I said. I have decided to drop the idea of using the red rowboat I had, which was from an old Imperial troop set from the 90s pirate theme. I'm going to go old fashioned brown for both, with some printed plank pieces as the seating, and I popped a wee lamp light on one too, and these will be floating by the canal side steps. I went away and lined the edge of the canal with my masonry brick built walls, and I left a gap for the main bridge. It's pretty nice because it lines up perfectly, although I still need a few plates to make it a bit higher, but it's mostly done. On the other side, I began building a sand blue 1x1 tile path, which is 3 studs wide. So anywhere in the city where pedestrians are, they're going to walk on paths like these. So this is the first one, and I interspersed it with tan coloured plates so minifigures can stand on the walkways. Here's a cup of the sand blue tiles. I have 2 full cups from the pick a brick wall, very handy, and so far I think it looks lovely. It's not as wide with 3 studs wide, but that's enough for the figs, and then I get more space for trees and then buildings on the margins. My next job for this week is to swap out the tiles. So I've got my extended house here from the bookshop set. I've already done these tiles and I'm thinking about what to do for the curb. So the magic of editing. I've done this now and I love the look. The contrast of the light grey to the darker roads makes more sense to me, and I've left a 1x1 stud gap for the curb to be added later. And yeah, it's nice, a real clean look. Also around the back, it looks pretty decent. I've tidied up the back, and you won't really see this though, as trees will be lining the back, and I'll also have some kind of masonry or fence work blocking in the back of the buildings. I've removed the detective office too now, and it's off to get an update and split up. Al's barbershop will become Al's fish store. Here it is in the parts room. Sorry about the light in here, it's a bit dim. But yes, this is the last time this will look like this. I'm going to split the blue building and make it 4 or 5 floors high, so tune in next week to see that. And whilst I was in the parts room, I also added the first bit of the jetty and put this airport figure here. He's waiting for the seaplane, whenever that comes. Have to build it. And yeah man, the canal is looking really nice. The water is finally done, the wall's mostly done, and a bit of plant life. I feel I've really got to get that bridge built properly for here and add some minifigures and trees for the path bit, so that's something I've really got to work on. Over the other side, I need to work on the city square and the monument that will be on this black plinth. And also get these tiled areas turned into grey. It's taken shape. The city has really developed in the last few weeks. I do think once the harbour and canals are really done, I'll feel a bit better about it, so I'm going to focus on finishing the jetty next week and then work on a few very narrow modulars. So thanks so much for watching until the end. Please like the video and I'll catch you next time. Bye!